Okay. I am just going to share this link if anybody wants to join live. Okay. So I wanted to share some uh, journal prompts for year end. And I get really excited about the year end. I know not everyone is into that, but I am. So yeah, I don't think I got the right link, but I'll figure that out later. All right. So the first thing I have is I know a lot of people pick a word to describe the year, but that seems a little limiting to me. But I like overarching words instead of detailed sentences to just brain dump all the main themes that come up for you when you think of this past year. So, what are some words that come up for you? Some of the ones that I wrote down were transformation, shedding, change, power, and just kind of kept going. Like, what are the big themes? And they can have a positive feel, they can have a negative feel. So, the tone of it can be anything, and you can just notice in your body what that tone is, but just kind of dump all of the words. So if you're catching the replay on this, feel free to pause the video so that you can take some time to do that. And I'll wait a little bit. All right. So when you're done with your brain dump, then we'll go into what energies do you wish to leave behind from the past year? So these will obviously have more of a negative quality to them if you're noticing judgment coming from your mind. But what are some things that, and I like to think about this as an energy, of a state of being that you found yourself in that did not serve you. It didn't serve your goals. It didn't serve the people who you surrounded yourself with. And that might be a way to look at it that doesn't feel as judgmental. So, some of the things I wrote down were like a scarcity energy, a lack energy of feeling that I needed something that I didn't have was kind of pervasive over the year, which made sense because I made some really big changes. And so, therefore, that lack energy really showed up quite a bit. And it took a lot to move through that. That was just discomfort with the changes and something my mind was making up. So that is something I can leave behind because it's not needed. And along those lines, as you're writing out what energies you want to leave behind, what's the biggest lie that you told yourself this past year? So it's probably something around something that you can't do that you want to do, or something that you don't think you deserve that you want. It may be around your own power, not noticing your own power and placing it outside of yourself instead of within you. It might be related to other people, what you think, or what you think they want. So, this lie that you've been telling yourself the past year, it's helpful to really identify that so that you can see it as the lie that it is. And challenge that. And if it helps to say, part of me thinks this, if you're noticing an inner conflict between the lie and then what would be the truth on the other end of that, you can use the part of me prompt if that's helpful. And along similar lines, another prompt that helped me to go deeper was around energy leaks. So, where was I placing my attention that actually leaked out my energy, that decreased my internal sense of power? And this has been a helpful prompt because these will be the themes of your worries, the things that keep you up at night, the things that keep you from being present with the people that you love, or your hobbies and projects and endeavors that you truly want to participate in. And that might feel a little overwhelming. You might be like, well, Stacey, that's a lot of stuff. So, what are just some of the themes that come up? Because, again, by identifying them, when you notice over the next year that you're tending to those, you've already called bullshit on them. And therefore, it'll be a little bit easier to catch and say, oh, right, this is not serving me. I can flip this energy. This isn't truth. This is coming from fear. It's coming from doubt. It's coming from conditioning, habit of how you've been your whole life, or at least long enough to have a strong habit. So when I was journaling about this, I noticed one of the biggest themes were related to other people. What are they doing? What are they creating? What are they thinking? And almost like deferring, an energy of deferring to other people's expertise instead of my own. And so I realized that was a huge energy leak for me over this past year. Again, sparked by insecurities of making massive changes in my life. So even though we might be able to point to, well, I understand why I struggled in that way, that doesn't make it true that you need to struggle in that way. Because it's still true that I hold my own power, my own expertise, and worrying and fixating on what other people want, what other people need, what other people think is good isn't a best use of my time or energy. And it feeds fear and insecurity instead of power. So, those are just some things to think about as you're exploring your energy leaks. So, they could be around relationships, they could be around health, your health, other people's health. It could be around money, wherever you notice you're obsessing. Okay. So now I want you to go back to your initial list, your kind of brain dump of summary words from the past year, and highlight any of them that you would like more of for this coming year. What would you like to invite more of? Maybe highlight those, rewrite them to where you are now. Maybe write what you're noticing in your body, what feelings are coming up as you think about inviting more of those things. Are there any voices from your inner critic that are judging what you want more of? If so, it's important to acknowledge, oh, hey, you came to this party, and recognize that's coming from a place of fear, insecurity, but that doesn't mean it's true. If you try to push it away, bury it, kill it, you're going to create more resistance. So the best thing you can do is to acknowledge it calmly and know that it's a part of your survival mechanisms. And you don't have to make it mean anything crazy. It's just how the mind works. It's how our systems work. So you acknowledge it and then come back and look at what you wrote down again of what you want more of. See if after acknowledging the critic, if you can allow that to deepen. Because by doing this, you're increasing your capacity to withstand more of the things that you want. If there's a lot of resistance, if there's a wall, if there's a huge I'm not deserving, or what would people think, or what would I think, I shouldn't want, then it can really muck up our energy as to how much we can actually hold or allow in. So think about it as this expansive opening happening. So that's why I like to marinate here for a minute so that you can energetically allow more in. And then when you're ready, we can move into what energies are you calling in for the next year? So maybe these weren't themes of the past year, so they're not on your prior list. But the ones that you feel your system moving towards. What are those energies? Maybe one of acceptance, of flexibility, of flow, one of action, but also calmness, stillness within your mind, witnessing, expansion, being seen, deepening within yourself, of vulnerability, with others? What energies are you feeling drawn to call in? And again, sit with those. Maybe highlight the top 2 or 3 that are really pulling at you. And then from there, what would you say the top one is? And you might want to make that one your word for the year to kind of anchor you into calling that energy in every day for yourself. So that will set the intention, that will set the foundation, that will set the stage for you to call that in. So, yeah. So, after you have your word, maybe it's a few words, maybe you want to use a phrase, but now that you've kind of refined through and have a bit more of a focal point, feel free to get out a piece of paper, a new piece of paper, or you can, I write on my iPad a lot, can use that. And let yourself draw, grab different colors. When you think of this word, when you think of this energy, what colors do you think of? Start making lines and brushes and these shapes in the colors that you feel drawn to when you're holding on to this word or energy. And there's no thinking here. Listen, watch. That's a fun one to watch. Watch and see what color you pick up. Watch and see what your hand does. Watch and see what appears on the page. You're supposed to be clueless. That's how you find out what's inside. You're not supposed to already know. Where's the fun in that if you already know? That's the stuff that paralyzes us. I gotta figure it out before I figure it out. So let yourself play with it and see what happens. And then you'll have a little drawing based off your word or words that you can reference. You can look at it every day. You can put it in your planner if you have one of those. Put it on your calendar, put it on your refrigerator, hang it in your room. And you can anchor into your intention for the year. So, all right. Well, I hope that was a fun, helpful exercise. And obviously, you can do this every year. And yeah. So, if you have any questions, feel free to drop them on the video. And I will hopefully answer as I'm still figuring out my new YouTube settings as I've tried to transition it to my new business. So we'll see how that goes. All right. Well, Happy New Year.